Project Catalyst has funded hundreds of initiatives across the Cardano ecosystem. But one key question remains: what happens after funding is delivered? This project set out to answer that question by analyzing the real off-chain impact created by Catalyst-funded teams between Fund 9 and Fund 12. Over the course of this research initiative, Storm Partners conducted a portfolio-wide assessment across 12 Catalyst-funded projects spanning infrastructure, governance, analytics, identity, events, real-world pilots, and ecosystem tooling. The goal was not simply to review milestones completed. The goal was to understand what actually created lasting ecosystem value. The Cardano ecosystem is not built only through on-chain activity. It is also built through developer infrastructure, governance systems, coordination tooling, education, institutional adoption, community distribution, and real-world operational pilots. This report explored how off-chain work contributes to long-term ecosystem growth and where Catalyst funding is producing the strongest outcomes. The findings revealed an important pattern. Funding works best when projects generate measurable user demand, developer adoption, operational utility, or institutional engagement. Across the project lifecycle, the team delivered a complete analytical framework for evaluating off-chain impact across Project Catalyst. 12 detailed case studies covering projects funded between Fund 9 and Fund 12. A comparative portfolio synthesis report with funding fit analysis, ecosystem segmentation, KPI recommendations, and lifecycle funding strategies. The project also enriched the Catalyst project database with additional categorization and evaluation structures developed through previous research initiatives. The first 6 published case studies included Cora Labs and Ada Handle, Storm Partners RFI, Lido Nation, Rare Evo, Cardano Transaction Library, and Socius. The second research wave included Delta DeFi, Clarity DAO, Andamio, Atrium, DigiFarm, and TapTools. Each project was analyzed across 5 core dimensions: catalyst allocation, delivered outputs, adoption and usage signals, sustainability pathways, and strategic relevance to the Cardano ecosystem. The research also distinguished between commercial sustainability, ecosystem dependency, and funding fit, because these are fundamentally different questions. The analysis covered more than 9 million ADA in direct catalyst allocations and over 12 million ADA when major partner pilots were included. The strongest projects were not limited to consumer-facing applications. Some of the highest value outcomes came from invisible infrastructure powering the ecosystem behind the scenes. The portfolio revealed 4 major categories of impact: user-facing products improving accessibility and usability, infrastructure projects reducing developer and governance friction, institutional and real-world pilots testing Cardano adoption outside crypto-native environments, and ecosystem distribution initiatives increasing visibility and coordination. The research documented substantial ecosystem usage across multiple projects. TapTools reached more than 165,000 unique users, generated over 100 million annual API requests, and became a widely adopted analytics layer for Cardano builders. Clarity DAO supported 285 active organizations, more than 1,700 unique voters, and over $1 million in treasury value under management. Delta DeFi's infrastructure stack surpassed tens of thousands of developer package downloads while launching a Hydra-powered DEX on mainnet. DigiFarm mapped over 10,000 agricultural fields across Kenya and Tanzania, while demonstrating measurable farmer cost reductions. Andamio recorded live self-sovereign on-chain identity transactions while progressing enterprise and institutional pilot integrations. These examples demonstrated that off-chain impact can be measured not only through transactions, but through operational adoption, coordination systems, developer dependency, and institutional engagement. One of the clearest conclusions from the research was that Catalyst has successfully funded ecosystem capability creation. Projects funded through Catalyst are now supporting developer tooling, treasury management, identity infrastructure, analytics systems, DAO governance, institutional pilots, educational frameworks, and ecosystem-wide coordination. The research also identified a major transition gap. Catalyst is effective at funding delivery, but less effective at helping projects move from completed outputs toward sustainable long-term adoption. This led to one of the report's central recommendations. Catalyst should evolve from a flat grant system into a more mature capital framework with differentiated funding models based on project maturity and ecosystem role. The project itself was designed as open ecosystem research infrastructure. The outputs remain reusable for future governance analysis, funding strategy discussions, and portfolio evaluation work across the Cardano ecosystem. The report recommends that future Catalyst funding pathways distinguish between early-stage public goods, shared infrastructure, commercial ecosystem applications, institutional pilots, and ecosystem distribution initiatives. Different types of work require different types of capital. Some projects should continue receiving grants. Others may be better suited for revenue share models, repayable grants, maintenance funding, or ecosystem investment structures. One of the major challenges encountered during the research process was the lack of standardized longitudinal reporting across funded projects. Many teams reported meaningful outcomes, but the metrics were often inconsistent and difficult to compare across categories. This highlighted the need for clearer KPI standards across Catalyst funding programs. The project therefore proposed tailored reporting structures depending on project type, including commercial products, developer infrastructure, institutional pilots, governance tooling, and ecosystem events. This project represents more than a retrospective analysis. It provides a strategic framework for how Project Catalyst can mature as an ecosystem capital allocator. The next phase for Catalyst is not simply funding more projects. It is funding the right projects with the right instruments at the right stage of maturity. The broader goal is clear: to strengthen Cardano's long-term competitiveness through better infrastructure, better coordination, stronger adoption pathways, and measurable ecosystem outcomes. From analytics infrastructure to governance tooling, from agricultural pilots to developer frameworks, the projects reviewed in this study demonstrate the growing depth and maturity of the Cardano ecosystem. This research was conducted by Storm Partners as part of Project Catalyst Fund 13. Thank you to the Catalyst community, builders, researchers, and ecosystem contributors who participated in this initiative. The full synthesis report and all case studies are available online. Together, these findings help shape the next chapter of ecosystem funding and sustainable growth across Cardano.